Hi guys, today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to make your meal prep more efficient. Now, the whole point of meal prep is to prep your meals ahead of time for your week. That way you don't have to cook on the daily and you cut your cooking time in half. Now, that means that the more efficient we become, the more systems we have down to make that process very smooth. Tip number 1, plan out your menu. It's very hard to go in and start cooking if you don't know what you're gonna eat for your week. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to know your menu for the full week, but if you're gonna prep meals for at least 2 to 3 days, you should know what you're gonna be cooking. This way, you can make your grocery list and go out and do your grocery trip and already know what you're gonna get, but you already have in the back of your head exactly what you're going to cook. Are you going to be cooking your chicken, veggies, rice, potatoes, whatever it may be? Plan it out, write it down, and have that layout. It's going to make your life much easier. Tip number 2, check your pantry. A lot of the times it's very easy to get caught up on all these recipes that we see online, that we go out and get a whole new couple bags of grocery. And what happens? We come home and chances are that you might already have those ingredients, and now we have double the amount, and realistically we're not going to go through that. So now we're wasting food and also money. So very, very, very important to check your pantry and try to come up with meals using ingredients that you have in your pantry or that you have in your fridge. If you have vegetables that already look like they're going bad, do your best to use those. Veggies that are already on the way out, like I like to call them, are great for broths and are great to do for sauces like a pasta sauce. So always, always, always check your inventory and try to come up with a menu using the ingredients that you already have. Tip number 3 is prep schedule. Now, with our schedules being all over the place, especially if you work full time, if you are a parent, and if you have a very busy schedule, putting that in your calendar is going to be very, very helpful. Whether you're prepping 1 day a week or maybe 2 or 3 days a week, because that's what works better for you, make sure that Sunday, when the week starts, you write down what days you're going to be cooking, and that way you can block it off and it becomes a routine. I personally like to cook twice a week. It's just what we've been doing for a really long time. I like to cook for about 3 days. So I cook on Sundays and I cook on Wednesdays. And this gives our food 3 days. On the third day, our food still tastes good versus cooking for 7 days. By day 5, your food might not be fresh and it's not going to taste good and it's going to end up in the garbage. So figure out your prep schedule and dial in what days you're going to go grocery shopping. Again, meal prep is supposed to save you time. Now, if you're cooking 3 times a week, if you're going to the grocery store 3 times a week, if you are doing multiple trips, then that defeats the purpose. So we want to make sure that we nail down 1 to 2 grocery trips and our time in the kitchen so we can be efficient. Tip number 4, when you have your grocery list taken care of and you know what you're cooking, and when you have all your ingredients ready, the first thing you want to do is prep. Now, what do I mean by prep? Is make sure that everything is chopped. So if you are making anything with vegetables, make sure that those vegetables are rinsed, chopped, and set aside. If you're cooking rice, make sure that you have your pot of water boiling and you have your rice measured and you have anything else that you're adding on the rice in the counter. If you are grilling chicken, make sure that the chicken is sliced, seasoned, and ready to be thrown on the grill. Why is this so important? Well, we need systems. You need an order system to do things so everything runs smoothly. You're not going to be cooking your rice and cooking the chicken and cooking the vegetables all at the same time because everything cooks differently. So you want to make sure that you have a flow, but having all of your ingredients prepped and ready to go is going to be very helpful. The last thing you want is cooking your rice and chopping your chicken and then going back to your rice because you realize that you forgot to bring it down to low heat. Now your rice is burnt. Now you've cross-contaminated your chicken and your rice and you're just a mess in the kitchen. So very, very, very important. Prep everything first. Once you have everything prepped, then begins the actual cooking portion. The hardest part and the most time-consuming part is prepping. So get that out of the way, and then you can start cooking. Tip number 5, invest in a food scale. Many of you are following a meal plan that has portions. If you are not using a scale, there's no guarantee that you are actually following those portions. Having a food scale is not only going to help you have consistency, but it's also going to make everything a lot faster. When it comes to portioning out your meals, it's very easy if you have a food scale. That way, all your meals are going to be exactly the same. You'll create, again, a system like we talk about it, and you'll have consistency across the board. This doesn't mean that for the rest of your life, you are going to be weighing your food. However, in the early stages of your journey, it's extremely essential and it's a tool that you should have in your toolkit. So I highly suggest investing in one. These food scales are very affordable. You can find them in almost any store or any local market. You can also get these online, and the majority of these have different measuring units, such as ounces, grams, milliliters. So they're very, very versatile. They don't take up much space in your kitchen, and you can also take them with you when you travel. I hope these tips help your meal prep days be more efficient. If you guys have any questions or need any help, feel free to send us an email or reach out to us.